Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. The trailer for the new TMNT movie Mutant Mayhem just dropped yesterday, and I guess it did look pretty stylistically cool. But what's really got a lot of fans wondering about is why is this movie's interpretation of April O'Neil making her look really overweight? Okay, like she's been on a cheeseburger diet for a month straight. Now, to be honest, I'm not really sure how old is this version of April supposed to be. Is she like a woman in her 40s? Is she a young adult? Is she a teenager? Not really sure, okay, because these days, the way the animation looks, a person could be anything. But from her original incarnation in the 1987 cartoon series, April was always depicted as a slim, physically fit TV reporter. Hell, this is the version of her that I grew up on. This is how fans of the property grew up knowing her. And let's face it, okay, me, just like so many of us out there in the whole world, all right, we were just straight up crushing on her. You know what I mean? Definitely, all right. Now, I dug up her original action figure from Playmates Toys. This version was the one that was made in 1990. Now, this version of the figure accurately captures her appearance from the classic cartoon. And let's face it, for most of us, okay, this is the version of her that we think about immediately when we imagine a scenario where April's hanging out with the turtles and they're cruising the streets in the party wagon. It's this version of her. And you know what? Looking back at this figure after so long, because this thing's been up on the shelves, I've not taken it down in quite a while. And look at the sculpt here. I think Playmates really did a fantastic job for something that was done 3 decades ago. I know that the turtles and most of the mutant monsters get a lot of attention, but you know what? Look at the human characters like April here. I'm actually surprised at how remarkable the sculpt is. Okay, I mean, Playmates was doing a bang-up job back in the day, as far back as 3 decades ago. And you know what? April, she was possibly the most crushed-on female cartoon character back then. Right after Chitara from the Thundercats. Yeah, that's right. You guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, when I think back to my time growing up in the 80s as a kid, I feel like I was really blessed, okay? Just like most of you guys out there, it was just such a magical time. These days, I don't think that kids or teenagers, when they're watching cartoons on like regular TV, I don't think they get to access, stuff that we used to, okay? That, normal cartoons that had these really attractive heroines in them, okay? Like, stuff that would really get you motivated. These days, the stuff that's animated on TV, most of it looks really dull, okay? Really boring. And honestly speaking, I don't see characters like these anymore, okay? Not like Chitara and April O'Neil. When I think of April O'Neil, the one word I probably feel that I would best use to describe her, okay, especially when I was growing up back then, is fat, okay? That's right, okay? It's like the word that Chris Tucker said to Heather Locklear in the 1997 movie Money Talks. When he meets her for the first time, he just goes, "You're fat," okay? And that pretty much stands for pretty hot and tempting. Yeah, PHAT, pretty hot and tempting, fat, okay? But these days, this version of April O'Neil that we're seeing here is just fat, okay, and overweight. And for some reason, she's also short. Okay, look, nothing wrong with any of this. All right, we've all been there. Some of us still are. Okay, we're still probably overweight and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with any of this. All right, it's just that we are not modern day depictions of a beloved animation icon. That's what it is. Okay, there's a lot of attachment to a character like this, to the name, to the representation of the character. There's a lot of attachment to it. And looking at the feedback that I received on my Instagram and YouTube community pages after I posted up the topic 2 nights ago, and based on comments from followers all over the world, right? Not just, here in Malaysia, but all over the planet, all right? Just about nobody appears to like this interpretation of the character. Among the comments that I received here, it says here, "Hey, April, save some pizza for the rest of us." Okay, and then everyone just goes, "No, no." Yeah, And this one comment here is like, "This version makes her look like an actual turtle," right? I mean, you gotta admit, okay, I mean, people are having a reaction to this interpretation of April O'Neil. And I did see some commentary online from selected media outlets, okay, saying that fans are being racially divided and do not like the character because she isn't white. Guys, that is just some flat out bullshit. Alright, you guys know it. Okay, race swapping with iconic pop culture characters is nothing new in entertainment. It has been going on for the last 10 years or so, maybe even more. It is possibly something that fans of most properties have come to expect as the new norm. Okay, but also to be clear, there was already a black April O'Neil in the 2018 Rise of the TMNT cartoon series. So, there's been a black version of April O'Neil out there for like the past half decade, right? She wasn't depicted as being overweight though, okay? So you have to wonder here, all right? Now, this is something totally different that we're dealing with. And I'm not a fan of race swapping popular characters, just to talk about that. I'm not a fan of swapping popular characters by their races when it comes to pop culture. And I talked about this before, especially after they made Matt Tracker from Mask a black person in the comic book reboot from IDW in 2016. They just went ahead and made him a black person for no apparent reason. Okay, they completely ignored the existing field commander who's black, all right, Hondo McLean, okay, the other prominent black character from Mask who was already on the team since day one in 1985. Hondo McLean was literally the rider, the driver of the Hurricane, my first ever Mask vehicle. Okay, he's nowhere in the reboot, but in comes this new black Matt Tracker. Okay, for what reason? All right, I mean, they were supposed to make it like a reboot of this iconic franchise, all right, all the way from the 80s, and it failed. Okay, the comic book reboot just tanked after something like 10 issues, and nobody's really talking about it today. Okay, that's one of the greatest crimes ever. Okay, nobody's really talking about Mask anymore, except in the hobby groups online, okay, and stuff like that. So look, understandably, there's been a lack of truly prominent black fiction characters, either in the superhero genre or otherwise. I get that, okay, definitely. And especially if you think back to the 1980s, there was really only one particular actor, okay, who was truly commercially successful. One black actor, okay, who was really commercially successful in movies throughout the entire decade of the 1980s, all right? Just list him down there in the comments if you know who I'm talking about, okay? But there's really just only one, all right? And when writers, take the time to develop original characters, okay, they breathe new life into previously obscure ones, I'm down with that, okay? And when they create compelling new backstories to characters that you may have heard of before, but suddenly, they're just much more interesting, right? They become much more profitable as well, all right? Okay, they are able to generate millions, okay, not just in ticket sales, but also merchandising. Think about it, all right? So I just would like to see more effort in that area and stop taking existing characters and just making them to some other race, all right? Whether it's black or any other race, what's the point? Okay, these characters already have an attachment with their target audience. Okay, they're already obscure to begin with. But don't take the fact that they're obscure and make it a reason to just, swap them around, okay, fix them, revise them, I don't know, okay, and just think that nobody's going to notice because they weren't popular to begin with. Now, in this particular case, of course, it's not race swapping that's an issue, but it's like the total revision of the entire dimension of the character, okay? They've completely taken her and just turned her all around, just made her short, overweight, and fat. Okay, why? Why is this the case? Okay, why is this happening? I don't know, okay? Right? Is April O'Neil supposed to be a key character in the movie? I would think so. She always has been in any incarnation of the TMNT, right? Now, look, April O'Neil is not an obscure character, not by any means. She's not like Matt Tracker of Mask, who I mentioned earlier. If you ask the average person on the street if they remembered who the team leader of Mask was, they'll be drawing a blank, okay? They'll be looking at you and they'll be like, look, can I just be on my way? Because I don't know what you're talking about. But then, if you ask them if they remember who was that super attractive woman that was always hanging out with the Ninja Turtles, yes, okay, they probably, even if they don't remember her name at that moment for whatever reason, but there will be a mental image of her, okay, in their minds, especially if they grew up in the 80s and 90s. Now, looking at this revision here, first of all, it's not something that, fans would even find believable because, honestly speaking, in her line of work, all right, she's dealing with some very dangerous criminal elements. All right, we saw this in original Ninja Turtles cartoon as well. The city is flooded with crime. You can't even report the news. You can't report the news because your cameras are being stolen right before your eyes. So that's how bad it was. So a lot of fans also commented that, she needs to be able to be light on her feet, okay, to be able to run, all right, especially in this line of work where, she's dealing with horrific mutant monsters, okay, mutant monsters like Bebop. You get what I mean? And also, let's not forget Rocksteady. Okay, so yeah, it's a very dangerous environment out there. She needs to be able to handle herself. And honestly, look, like I said, I don't know what the age of this particular depiction of April O'Neil is. She could be 16, she could be 45, for all I know, okay, based on this illustration here. Don't hold it against me, because sometimes, they tell you that the person is like, 18, but the animation makes her look 58. Okay, I mean, it happens. But either way, I'm just wondering to myself, okay, regardless of her age, why was there a conscious decision to make somebody like her, who's not ever been associated with being overweight? Okay, first of all right, it's like if the Blob, okay, if Marvel's the Blob was suddenly depicted as being super skinny and just like flat out malnourished, you'd be wondering too, right? Like, what's happened to this guy? Is everything okay? Is he depressed? What's the deal? So these are the questions, right? And you know what, I can't help but think that, honestly, producer Seth Rogen, when he first started out, doing movies, back in the day, 15 years ago, stuff like Knocked Up and all that, he was pretty overweight. Okay, he was known for actually being, a pretty overweight actor, but he's taken remarkable steps in the last couple of years to really get into shape. I don't know if you guys noticed, you probably have, right? He's really gotten into shape, and I guess, one of the primary reasons for that would be health. I mean, that's usually the reason, right? Other than just, wanting to look good. But yeah, definitely health. So, I just wondered to myself, what do you guys think about all of this stuff? I've heard most of your comments, on my Instagram and also on the YouTube community page, but I'm putting together this video. Let me know in the comments, okay, what you guys think about all this. All right, are you guys excited for TMNT Mutant Mayhem? I'm excited to get the toys, for damn sure. Okay, I'm not sure how the movie is going to turn out, but the possibility of getting new commercial, retail available action figures, that excites me. All right, especially, Bebop and Rocksteady. I want to see what the new depictions of those characters look like in full. And so let me know, guys. Let me know your thoughts about all this, and I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content right here. Thank you, and take care out there.